we are going to talk about $200. So it is just like a continuation of service quality which we were addressing last week. And we are supposed to begin by determinants of quality. And I think we have so much repeated about the determinants of quality. Enye mtu hawezi sema mpaka leo hajui what are the determinants of quality. So that's why I jumped that part. I brought it for the first time last week. I brought it for the second time. So I'm seeing I'm overdoing that part. So let me just move into today's things after the removal of the determinants of service quality. So we move directly to expected quality. To expect is what you assume to be given. So when we become a customer, you assume that you are supposed to be given specific things. That is the aspect of to expect. So expected service is what a customer assumes that he or she is supposed to receive from your establishment. They are basic functions or features that a customer thinks he or she has to receive while consuming a product or using your services. First, affecting expected quality. The first factor that affects unexpected quality is not being available right here and right now. So an example of right here and right now ni sasa kama hii situation yenye tuko. Like we are communicating through the big blue button. But a customer will expect you to be there in person as a service provider so that you can communicate one-on-one about service. So, for example, if you are using a phone, because you cannot be available in person, indicate the hours when you are available to communicate or assist your customers. In case you're using an email, try to minimize the use of automated system. Instead, you should just let your customer to know how long it will take to handle the mails. So automated system ndio ile ni wakati unapigia mtu simu unaambiwa kindly reply with an SMS. Unapiga simu inakatika yenyewe, SMS inaingia kwa simu yako, kindly reply with an SMS. So in case of such scenario, mails pia what uko nao siku hizi companies are doing. So ukiconsult company vile, thank you for contacting Zitech University. We will get back to you as soon as possible. So let us avoid such automated system and just let your customer know after how long will their problem, question be tackled. In case you are doing live chats, usikue live na mgeni anaona vizuri umuongeleshi. So you should tackle all the chats utapata one by one as they came over. Mpaka umalize. But usiwahi kuwa on, mtu anakuona uko on, but you are not tackling your customers' questions and preferences. Then we move to factor number 2 that affects expected quality. That is low quality of frontline team training. Frontline staff and what establishments should do to frontline staff to just avoid burnouts on them. So training is always something that is continuous. It should always be done to ensure that the frontline staff are at par with what is required. required of them and in relation to the latest technological issues. The other thing affecting expected quality is lack of personal touch. Lack of personal touch. So personal touch is that one where the customer feels you and her or you and him can communicate a lot. So like in short, you need to be friendly to the customer so that the customer can vent out everything he or she may want. Inability to demonstrate such like quality normally shows that either a hospitality establishment is hiring poorly trained staff, or maybe the staff does know what he or she is supposed to do. So in short, any person who is handling a customer, you must be friendly to him or her, and above all, show your professional knowledge and skills. Once you fear, huwa unaonyesha tu the level of education in you might be little. Number 4, tuko na the no 3R rule. No, sasa niliandika vibaya ati no. Ni no ya KNOW. So the other thing you are supposed to know is the 3R rule. The first rule is responsibility. The second rule is respect. And the third rule is resolution. So be responsible in whatever thing that happens, be it positive, be it negative. When you are at work as a frontline staff, again, be responsible. Say tikiti inafanyika tu unakimbia haraka kwa manager. At times, if si ile kampuni ya monopoly, you can also try to tackle the issue by yourself. Then respect, explanatory, resolution. Ikifanyika unafuta namna ya kuisuluhisha kwa haraka iwezekanavyo. So be a fast thinker and solve the customer's problem as fast as possible. The next thing is taking loyal customers for granted. A loyal customer is one who keeps on coming back, like a repeat customer to your establishment. So once you have established one repeat customer, you need to treat them with respect. It costs 5 times as much as to attract a new customer than to keep an existing customer. So once you find one, look for means of keeping these customers as much, because getting a new one can be very hard based on the competition in this industry. So huwezi jua ni kwa nini mgeni ameamua yeye anataka tu that your establishment. So competition is stiff, and reward those customers accordingly so that they can stay in your establishment. Look for things that can be used as reward that the customers can appreciate. Then use them accordingly. Number 6, misuse of technology is also very bad. That means always use the latest technological advances. You should be somebody who understands the latest technological advances in the market, then you put them in place just to improve customer satisfaction. Jackie, kindly mute your microphone. Jackie Mukabali. Jackie Mukabali. The other thing affecting expected quality is normally misuse of technology. So that one I have just discussed it, whereby we are going to use the latest advances in technology, be up to date with them, so that you can improve your customers' experience with your system. So remember, in marketing, muliambiwa different platforms za marketing. There is direct marketing and it uses different platforms. So when you use that platform in place to communicate with your customers, update those systems so that they can be latest and the customers can enjoy the purchasing experience over the technology. Number 7, you do not care about your customers' need. This is why we normally say in the establishment, remember to put suggestion box. As the customer is leaving the establishment, again, huwa unamuescort to the door, ukimaga, ukimwambia rudi tena. So those were aspects of service, if I'm not wrong. It's a long time since I taught service, but ulikuwa akimaliza unamsindikiza hadi kwa mlango, unamuaga, unamwambia rudi tena. So ukimsindikiza, that is how you can ask him or her about the service experience. Then mgeni atakujibu. If not, kuna suggestion boxes. Ama kuna wale wageni, we talked about the different types of customers we have who complain, and some are even good at giving you ideas. You can pick them and try to put them in place. The other thing that affects expected service is no social media activity. So siku hizi tuko na so many social media activities in place. Kuna Facebook, kuna Twitter. Establishments should join all these sites. In IG, you should all join these sites because customers are found anywhere, and try to maintain both positive and negative comments from customers. So nyinyi ndio hata mna own hizi chats. Nyinyi wenyewe mnajua chai tunakunywa hapo social media kila siku. Chai iko tamu huko sana. So and that tea, after it has been issued hivi, people will comment positively and people will also comment negatively. As an establishment, know how to respond to positive ones and even negative ones, and appreciate both vibes. Another way of measuring, another way of how we that are so you cannot work as one pillar, but you need to work together as a group. So companies are urged to collaborate. Then lastly is employee burnout, where you find that you are one employee but you have so much to handle. In the long run, you even become stressed and even confused. So a burnout is normally when you have so much to do. Mpaka at the end of the day, you are very much fatigued. You can even forget about personal things, even about your life. So in regard to burnout, in HR huwa mnaambiwa vizuri watu wanafaa kuwa na JDs, job descriptions, that you know what you are supposed to do. What you are supposed to do in the company to avoid conflicting interests. So you just follow a JD and you do your thing. So when there's too much complaint, too much multitasking, and even a negative work environment, it normally lowers a person's level of commitment. So kuna mtu anaweza kuwa amejitolea anataka kufanya kazi vizuri, but because the work area is associated with the negative people who talk about the company and the rest, mtu hawezi kuwa proactive. So to avoid such situation, plan your team schedule properly. That means JDs should be there, and even duty rosters are always there to minimize such like things. You know where to be at a specific time and doing what. Avoid multitasking. Usikue receptionist, kam cashier, kam GRO, kam switchboard operator. It's quite hectic for one. And motivate your employees about positive quotes. So again, when you go to these good companies, unapatanga each and every morning your boss amewawekea a positive quote for the unasoma, then life moves on. At least there's an inspiration. It can even be a story about something. Boss huweka hapo ama mna share asubuhi before muanze tu kazi. Huwa kuna a sharing where you share about something good. Then maisha inaendelea. So also you can do those positive quotes. You write or you sit down as office members and you share something good. Even the Bible can assist. And then short meetings to discuss ideas can also prevent employee burnout. So pia huwa tunasema in our establishments, meetings should also be there. Departmental meetings are also important. Huwa zinasaidia members of the department. In case there is something inawasumbua or kitu wanafaa kuongezea ili department iendelee kufanya poa, huwa pia they add in their ideas. After expected, remember an expected quality is before the guest consumes your product or uses your services. Then sasa tuko na experienced quality. So expected is what a guest anticipates. Then sasa sahi I'm moving to experienced quality. So this one is when the guest has used your products and services. Atakuwa anaweza sema his experience with the establishment. So experienced quality just focuses on the way the service was done. To meet the customer, to the time utaambia mgeni. So it is the measure of delight or annoyance. Delight ni furaha, annoyance ni makasiriko of a customer experience with service. So that is how the customer measures it. Venye alifurahi ama venye alikasirika kuhusu yale mliomtendea. It results from the fulfillment of customers' expectation with respect to the utility. So to fulfill ni amefurahia what you have done to him of his expectation. With reference to utility, utility is service that has been done to him. So it results from the fulfillment of customers' expectation with respect to the utility, and or on enjoyment of application or service in light of the user's personality and current state. So also it will also depend on how the guest has enjoyed using your service in reference to his personality and current state. Remember, personality of people differ from one place to the other. Hiyo nimefanya last week, but one we were discussing about types of customers we have in the industry. Alafu state pia differ. Mood swings from time to time. So experience quality might change from one customer to the other because people have different personality, and also their current states keep on changing from time to time. Factors affecting experienced quality. Number 1, human influence factors. So these are factors that affect every human being. A human being is affected in one low level of processing. Then number 2, a human being can have a high level of processing. So swali ni, what is a high level of processing and what is a low level of processing? When we talk about low level of processing, we will talk about aspects like age, miaka. We have the young and we have the old. So you find that the young have their own things and even the old have their own things. Kuelewa yao pia is different. Gender, mnajua male na female. Mood, tuko na happy, tuko na calm, tuko na so many moods will affect a customer. So those are the low parts of processing. When it comes to the higher levels of processing, the higher things that people consider as affecting humans, tuko na cognitive. Cognitive is the ability of you to, the process of communication. Message will be sent. Kutakuwa na waves hapo katikati. After hizo waves ndo zitaingia kwa masikio yako, then you encode kwa brain yako, then udecode. Ndio sasa ucommunicate. Besides, ndio ureply. Besides cognitive, tuko na economic and social background. Whereby when I talk about economics, unajua whenever you hear economics ni kama job ya mtu ama pesa. So the money you have at hand can determine what you will consume at a specific period. And socio-cultural background is just your background. Maybe you eat this, you don't eat this. Hiyo ndio socio-cultural background. You will have beliefs or norms that govern you. So the human influence factors is divided into 2. The low processing ones and the high processing ones. So the low processing ones huwa unapata basically they affect an individual at individual level, wewe tu peke yako. But they are considered as the low things. Hiyo ni kitu tu inakuaffect tu wewe mwenyewe as a person at a personal level. But the high level processing one, mostly a group is different with one individual. Unatakula nyama, kuna mwenye based on the money you have at hand. At the same time you can go hapo hivyo as friends. Social background can also affect your eating capacity. Another factor affecting experienced quality is the system influence. So utapata system hapa hivi, we will incorporate IT into place. So number 1 tuko na content related. So content ni wakati unafanya marketing, the way you will explain about your products and services is enough to convince a customer of your products or not. So ndio tuko tunasema pale marketing content is very important. Whatever you are telling customers have to be very convincing. If it is written, write it in those ways your teachers were marketing waliwaambia. If it is audio, make sure it has those rules. If it is video, again it has to adhere the rules of a video. So content is very important, and make sure as you relate the content, it is as clear as possible, because you can capture a customer there. The second thing is network related, like bandwidth and delay. An example ni kama hizi real estate. Unapata Nairobi utasikia NRG, Ukifika tu shago kwenu, energy kumbe haifiki. Unaona? So that is an example of a bandwidth, how these things move. So you will get that some information cannot reach some areas. Ama unapata like an establishment has relayed that information to specific group and not the other. So a network bandwidth is just how far that information can go. And also delays also occur. Delay ni explainable. Unajua network delay na ina hang pia. Another thing in relation to system ni media related resolutions. So media related resolutions ni hizo tu process tu ya kutransmit that information so that it can reach to you. You encode it. To encode is to understand whatever information is being sent to you. Then you decode it so that you can reply to the email that was being sent to you. Then the third factor affecting experienced quality ni context influence. Context influence, very important. The context that you are using at a specific time. So under context, tuko na physical context must come clear. Explain where you are. Kitu physical ni kitu mtu anaona. Therefore, explain to the customer where exactly are you located. Okay, you are located in Nairobi. Which part of Nairobi? How many kilometers from the airport? How many kilometers from the CBD? Ndio mgeni ajipange. Kama alikuwa anajisikia kukuja hapo, atakuja tu. So location, make sure you are as clear as possible. Na kitu kama Nairobi tunatumia hizi key buildings. We have key things zenye people will just know. Mtu mwenye si frequent Nairobi, ajua buildings, atakuwa anajua so you use location and even space. Maybe utasema we are covering a 2-hectare piece of land in the serene areas of Hurlingham, such like things. So physical context ni kitu yenye mgeni akikuja, akiangalia, anaona yenyewe kitu uliandika pale kwa website na chenye anaona hapo, they are true and relating. Second one to context. Still under context influence, we will still talk about temporal context. Under temporal context, hapa ndio utaambia mgeni about time of the day when you are offering those your services and so utapata tu hapa mostly you are explaining how often you are. Utapata hospitality establishment yanasema we are open for 24 hours with our breakfast beginning at 6 a.m. ending at 9:30. We have lunch, table lunch from noon to 2 p.m. and a la carte may run the whole day, while dinners are always buffets except Tuesdays and Fridays that we do a la carte. So that is an example of a temporal context where you explain to your customers how you do things there and at what frequency. The third thing under context influence is social context. Ukisikia the word social, this is how we relate with each other. So you will find again hospitality establishments will tell you very well. We have these types of clients who offer these types of services. So that means the establishment is welcoming you to their building, whereby you will meet the friendly customers who will give you a world-class service. So wewe kama unataka tu kwenda huko hivyo so that you can experience kitu inaitwa world-class service. Tuko na task Context. The other one we have is task context. This one is the ability to multitask and also the ability to perform interruptions without being rude in regard to your interruption. So utapata kazi kila siku si ati hakuna kumultitask, but kazi kila siku iko na kumultitask. But there's a way you can multitask without being rude to the customer. So that one is also something that normally happens. Very big multitasking mpaka inakuwa burnout at the end of the day. Then lastly is technical and information under context influence, where this is the relationship between systems. So computers are always interconnected, the front office, housekeeping, these zote are always interconnected so that we can share information accordingly in the establishment. So those are the three major things that affect experienced quality in the establishment. But it is just always a matter of having one and you tackle it as required and things will always move on. If you face any problem, your boss is always there, your colleague is always there. We normally say that you are not an island, but you ask na unasaidika tu badala ya kupata burnout at the end of the day. Then we had the issue of the qualities that we normally have. So this one is also a repetition because it was somewhere in marketing. Watu kuna technical quality, watu kuna functional quality, then we normally have the ethical or societal quality. Technical quality is what normally the customer is left with after consuming the product. So huwa unapata technical quality hapa ndio penye mgeni anabaki akisema I'm satisfied, I'll come back, or the services of this hotel are too bad, I cannot come back. So me husema technical quality is the aspect of science, of production and service, whereby kama ni science ita entail hesabu zingine hapo utaweka in place. While kama ni art, you will do what? You will think. Art is the aspect of thinking innovatively or creatively about a product or a service. So that one means in regard to technical quality, by the time the guest enters the establishment, up to the time the guest will come out of the establishment, you must have shown your technical aspect, the science part of whatever you are of the service you are performing, and also the art part of it. So science ndio zile zenye hatuwezi change. They are those rules, like Mr. Samuel aliwaambia service vizuri, the do's and don'ts of service. When the guests come in, what you are supposed to do mwanzo mpaka mwisho. Then now tuko na art part of it now, where you have to be creative wewe mwenyewe. There are some things you can just be creative wewe mwenyewe hapo restaurant, and you can even impress the customer. For example, anakula food, naweza mwambia I think this dish of yours inaweza enda vizuri na hii wine. Mgeni ata appreciate kama ananunua. So that one is an example of technical quality, and there are so many, right from the time the customer will come up to the time they get in, up to the time the customer will come out. Then we have functional quality. It is the process of delivering the service product. So when you deliver the service product, you have to have speed. So itakuwa kama the speed yenye utasaidia mgeni kupata starter is an example. You akisha kupea order, starter huwa inafaa kutoka haraka. Kama ni a la carte ndio atangoja dependent on chenye amechukua, utamwambia kama ni 20 minutes ama 40 minutes na chakula itoke. So an example of functional quality ni kama speed. The way you will tackle something with speed is an example of functional quality, because you want to deliver the service product to the customer. Then the last part is the ethical or societal quality. These ones are normally those things that any establishment must consider as rules guiding them when offering the product. So you normally find if you follow these rules very well, the customer normally has the credence attribute in him. So what is credence? The credence attribute ndio huwa ni ile customer amemaliza kutumia your services, and then ukimuuliza how was service experience, then oh my god, it was so nice and I don't have even anything to say about it, and I'm going to my friends to come here. You are offering very nice services. So I hope mshaona mgeni kama huyo amefurahi mpaka yani hajui ataseme nini, but the best anaweza kuambia ni atarudi next time. The only thing atasema ni atarudi next time na anaenda kuambia mabeshte wake the way that place is good. So the credence attribute is the ability of the customers to be very happy, and they cannot say anything else about the company. Otherwise, to inform you as the company that they're just going to market you on your behalf and they're going to bring more customers. Habari ndio hiyo.
Be very easy for you to make this person very content with the service that you people are rendering. Number 5, offer proactive customer services. This one is like indulging them kwa like one they are part of the organization. Wasione ni kama we are just here to eat alafu wachukue pesa then waende. Like waulize maswali, waulize how have you been, service ya leo unaiona aje, are you experiencing any challenges or something? Yeah. The last one is benchmark customer satisfaction. This one is just as I explained. Kubenchmark ni kama unafanya like research, or yeah, the best word to use there is research. Unafanya research on how satisfied is this customer of yours mwenye umeserve. Hii nini inaweza ku achieved by kufungua tuseme a website enye, like for example let me use Uber. Ukishamaliza trip yako ya Uber wanakupatianga ile rating. How would you rate the driver, how would you rate the ride, and like general so unafaa kujua our customers, what do they think of you, so that ukishajua hivi it will help you kujua where you should improve and where, yeah, generally where you're supposed to improve. Yeah.
And you know, Alex, to benchmark is not what you have said. Not Alex, Glenn. To benchmark is not what you have said. When you are bench, any idea what satisfied customers still live? Glenn. Yes. Yes, Mariam.
I want to add on to that. Satisfied customers may leave if their complaints are not addressed instantly and maybe in the right manner. Take a case where a customer had a problem with maybe one of the staff. And when he raises this issue to the management, the management does not take his complaints